Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, the 1st of July, 2022. And in Canada, it is Canada Day. And we actually have a soldier, veteran, James Topp, who's in Ottawa right now. And he marched across Canada. It took him a few months. And here now, and hopefully things remain peaceful. I shared a video today of what happened yesterday at the war monument. And oh my goodness, just like so many layers to that to unpack. And it blows my mind that people are not understanding who the actual villains and victims are in like all of these situations. And I just had a conversation about that just this morning with with the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Do people not track the fact that there's literal riots and inciting of violence and damage all over the US and Canada right now, but especially in the US, and that they're storming buildings and that they are storming people's homes and attacking people and you guys want to compare that to like a staged riot insurrection that happened on January 6th of last year, that was enabled by the government, and I've shared that data as well. And you want to compare, okay, or like not even, or look at this as like this is nothing, and the protests too for the last couple of years with Antifa and Black Lives Matter and so many other groups that are funded by leftists, extremists, not liberals, not conservatives, not PPC, not libertarian, none of these freaking political parties, but these are like extremists with extreme ideologies, right? And even our leader, not my leader, because I never voted for him, not even once, and I said it was a bad idea even, several years ago. He is a egotistical dictator who does not have the qualifications needed to be running a family, let alone running a country. And it's just getting frustrating because we are crippling our governing bodies with what we're doing for quotas and what we're doing for lowering standards and what we're doing for oppressing people that actually do deserve the jobs and not getting it because of being, what is considered to be a quote unquote majority that, just can't be had, even though like ex-NFL football players, beyond fit and intelligent, and I'm talking across the board, are being refused jobs in government because they're white men or white women. And this doesn't help anyone, right? It doesn't help the people, because again, there's minorities in, like, we're a multicultural society, right? And there's always going to be like a certain percentage that's going to be, like in any country, that's going to be like a majority, and then there's going to be ones that are going to be minorities. This is across the board, all countries. And yeah, and we just like, however you want to represent that, but it should be about equal opportunity and not equal representation, right? Because like, this is how it's not working. And when you look at it, like other countries' models, what seems to be working regarding quality of life for everyone, it seems to be where we're not trying to fill quotas and lowering standards or anything like that, but people in their workforces feel like they deserve to be there. There's camaraderie in all workforces, and like-minded. Anyway, it's just do the comparisons, and I can show the scientific studies, and that can also confirm that the less we resist things, the more like the happier everyone is, and like the more freedoms we have as a society, like the less crime, the less corruption, and the less people tend to live fear-based and then create chaos or become involved in chaos and stuff like that. So anyway, this Canada Day, like I just like already ranting with people this morning about what happened at the war monument, because like there was a lot of police there, and there was like a fight that broke out, and just the drills that were employed, again, it's just all over the place. They don't look professional, and you knew James Topp was coming yesterday. You knew like that, how to do you not know how to manage scenes? Like, I mean, I teach this course, and I've offered this course, like critical incident stress management, and scene management and hostile environment awareness training, all of these freaking courses, and there's practical scenarios to this, and it's because I've been part of these crowd controls too. Like, do these people not think that? Oh, anyway, it just brings me an example. It just comes to mind. I totally forgot about this, but when I was in Kandahar, and we were going through Kandahar city, and there's that huge traffic circle, but there had been like an explosion when we were on our way back to Kandahar airfield, and so we had to be rerouted. But before that, like we ended up, it was called for us to dismount, and like there was so many people around, and they don't like us, and they didn't like us, and it became like a bit of a stressful situation, but it is what it is. And we had our weapons too, right? And like, oh, like that's an escalator of force, and they don't like these things. And like some people, like they're okay with rifles, but they're not okay with pistols. And it's just like a really weird, like dynamic. But like what you want to do is like manage the scene and have like the least amount of conflicts, you know. And if it means like putting your firearms down and like and being friendly and smiling and like just like you know, just like trying to make things okay. And then again, like, yeah, like that's the one small example, but I can give so many different other examples of like when there is a mass cast situation, even, or when there's like fights that break out, how to manage the scenes and how to control the area, like the 360 around too, and everyone was like looking in and pummeling anyway. And it only takes one or two people too if you do it right. It's like the high low, and we teach that in urban ops and stuff like that, in infantry. And I'm going all over the place, but yeah. So training, this is where I was getting at with training. Like we're not doing a lot of it, and this is where a lot of mistakes can happen as well. And we need to be like ready for these types of things more than we are. Like, because again, there's gonna be more protests coming through the summer and the fall as well. And yeah, it just is what it is. What were the other things that were going on that were like so frustrating? Oh yeah, with the Roe versus Wade, I already touched on that. How like extremists are causing a lot more chaos and violence and damage than anyone that was part of like the freedom convoys, for example, even here in Ottawa. And the people that were causing damage here were people that were affiliated with Black Lives Matter and Antifa and other like more terrorist groups, I guess you want to call them, and cutting brake lines and damaging vehicles. And like that's who 911 and the police were responding to mostly was the people that were fighting against people that were peacefully protesting. And so like even our own cabinet members have been caught lying about that. And then there was other people in cabinet finally like speaking out, and it's becoming more public, saying like what you're saying is actually not true at all. It's actually complete opposite. And what you're doing is creating like such like they're vilifying groups of people, right? And so like people like me have been like deeply impacted by stuff like that. And painted in a way that I'm like clearly not. And so the ironing in that as well is just it's not lost on me, but it is what it is. I'm still looking at finding a place outside of this city because of what potentially might be happening in the next few months, being a bit of a shit show here, and plus with all the noise with the construction as well. I want to get away from that. And yeah, big things going on. Oh my goodness, with Taiwan and China. I think I mentioned that the other day as well, but like not doesn't help us at all. And now even yesterday, I think it was, Sweden and like a couple of other NATO countries again were aligning with anyway, like we're aligning and going against and providing more sanctions against Russia. And Russia is aligned with key players in the world that are stronger and bigger and like possibly more unpredictable than our own. And these are not good things. So again, like even yesterday, we got to pay attention to these things. and there was another thing I wanted. Oh yeah, the big thing too. Like I was skipping this was the biggest hit, I guess, from this whole pandemic is the fact that now like kids between the ages of 6 months old to 5 years old are now approved for emergency use of these vaccines that are causing so many adverse side effects, even in adults, and it just is so alarming. And the doses that they're getting too, we were able to resist enough where people, when it finally became approved for emergency use for teenagers from 5 to 11, anyways, 5 and up. This was just before the holidays. Like that was hard to hear because like again, still under emergency use until 2023, and so any vaccine side effects that are happening now with adults now, especially with the 6-month-olds, as soon as it's approved within countries, because of authorizations being done with Pfizer. Again, this is a corporation that is not part of any government, nor do they care about our health at all. They care about profit. But like there's like no one that could go and successfully make claims against these vaccines now because they're being given to children and infants, so clearly they're good for adults. And we knew this was coming. This is really, really bad news, and I took that news really, really poorly. I didn't relapse or anything, but oh my goodness, it was close. But that's just like one part of like a bigger picture of things that are going on, and just things that are intentionally designed to keep us stuck because of, emotions, and allowing those to get the best of us. And people are just going to live their lives in blissful ignorance, and I have to accept that as well. And so like even friendships that have been lost because of all this, and me being a little bit bitter and resentful because people were traveling throughout, knowing that like supported and enabled this to continue on, and like people like me like continuing to resist and not travel, even though I make, I'm able, I have money, I can, and I'm flexible, and could have went literally anywhere I wanted throughout this whole thing, and had flights canceled on me for like places I wanted to go that were dreams of mine. And I didn't, because like I didn't want that to be like something that was forced on children in order to be able to travel to, or go to school, because again I was going to university through this too, and I resist that as well. And I provided data and information, so I wasn't just like not complying with things. I was also like educating myself and providing research to multiple levels of government and beyond on why we shouldn't be enabling like any of this, and and how everything was related, right? Like, so like this pandemic response, this was planned. I don't care anymore people calling me a conspiracy theory over this. China does have mines here all over. It does have bases, and not just here, in many other places as well. These are concerning things. There's now going to be like a third party governing body that will be doing pandemic response in countries, and I don't want them in my country if they're not aligned with my values and belief systems. And I'm confident enough in my own abilities, intellectually and physically and spiritually and emotionally, to do the right thing, and I've proven that time and time again, and so have many other people. That's my point to this, is like we need to put more trust in our own strengths and be more aware of our own weaknesses and vulnerabilities, and just enhance those as we get through periods of life that are a little bit more difficult than others. And if there are outages and food shortages and gas shortages and all of these things, then we should just be a little bit more prepared for this and not respond in anger and fear. And I would argue that even looking at that video yesterday, all the law enforcement that were there were responding in fear and anger, and no one looked like they were in control of the situation at all. So I'm wondering who the supervisor was there, and why. Like I don't know, it's just weird to me too, because like even at platoon level and section level, or even when doing like reconnaissance missions with like 4 people, we always have comms with each other, whether it be like with the anyways, I won't say the radios that we use, but like the small ones, obviously, that can like it's like so lightweight, and like 521, 522s, and the PEC. Anyway, and we could communicate over long distances, like it's like in the ear, right? And that was like that was like over like a decade ago, so like a decade and a half ago. So, and things became a lot more advanced since then. So why are they not doing that? And it seems to still be a problem. Like we need to start communicating with each other better, and even at our own internal level. So like if that's not even happening at the internal level, it's clearly, and I've been saying this as well, it doesn't happen with all government agencies like throughout that operate, especially in the capital region, which is why I'm always like sending every group that I know like information, like, just so you know, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming, and these are the roles and the scenarios that may or may not be played out, and what to look for. And yeah, like most people are tracking. It's just literally the people, unfortunately, that are making the key decisions, they're the ones that are not tracking, and they're making everyone else in government look bad, but also get frustrated as well. And it is what it is. But the more we speak out on this stuff, then the better it is. And so I do hope that everyone has a good Canada Day, and that we're not just erasing it, because we do have a lot to be proud of. And yes, we do have a lot to be ashamed of as well, but like not us as a collective society at all, or nation or country, but because of people that have been in positions to make change and didn't do the right thing, right? And that's that's it only takes one bad apple to impact an entire batch. And so unfortunately there are times when that has happened. We just need to stop it from continuing to happen and learn from our mistakes. And so getting people out like Chrystia Freeland and Jim Watson and Patty Hajdu and Justin Trudeau and like you name it, Marco Mendoncini and Kieran Moore, like Teresa Tam, the list goes on. These Diane Deans, they need to be fired. They did not do a good job. They've lied to us. I've proven that. So many people have proven that. And we need to get better people in to step up, do the job, even if they have to be ordered to do it, and lead this country out of what we've been put into, like what we've been placed into, and it's going to take a really strong leader, an ethical leader, and it's going to take a really strong team of people working together in order to get us out of what possibly may happen. And I'm putting my name in the hat for and to offer. And again, I don't know like who am I don't know, but I can offer, I guess, like a little bit more advice based on like having a lot more truth based on my contacts and my connections, and people giving me information and risking their lives to give me information in order to try to get it out. And I'm always censored. And I even shared that on my Instagram too, just the other day, where like even information that is critical to get out, that is by professionals, by doctors that are experts in their field for long periods of time, when I share that information, those videos have been removed, and like and then I share the warnings and the threats to my account, and like what videos have been removed and like who it was, and then verify that this is a real person, they're a real doctor. But yeah, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope that we're not canceling Canada Day. Like I'm still very like I love my country. I don't identify with it like like that it's all encompassing, right? Like I try to like have like no ego or identify with anything. I think that's a bigger issue with the world. Like we're trying to like everyone's trying to identify as something, and everyone wants their own unique identity that gets a lot more confusing and convoluted, and it allows for more confusion and less cooperation, and intentionally so, right? So like even with pronouns, when we legalize things like that, what you resist persists, and what you're actually causing is a lot of division. And so like this is why this shouldn't be in rules or laws and stuff like that. And yeah, on that note, hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And yeah.